Good afternoon and welcome to the channel Home Physio by Nicola. My name is Nicola Coburn and I'm the owner and senior physiotherapist of Home Physio by Nicola. Today it is tip of the week and it's tip of the week number 7, and today we are going to be focusing on looking at exercises to help improve your strength and balance to therefore prevent falls. So April has been a month of us having a falls prevention month. So the initial videos have been, number 1, do you have a falls action plan? Would you know what to do in the case of having a fall? The second one was the best way to rise from the floor after having a fall, or if you're on the floor doing activities, the best way to get up from the floor. Always remember that proposal stance, okay? The one from last week was talking about your home hazards and things to look at within your home environment to try and prevent a fall from happening in the first place. And today we're going to think about, okay, well, what physiotherapy strength and balance exercises can I do to really help to prevent myself from having a fall? What things can I be in control of to help improve? Okay, so we're going to do basic exercises today. And we're just going to do a cluster of exercises to think about improving your strength and balance. And next week's tip of the week will then be about how you could progress those exercises. So it's very important that any of the exercises that I'm doing today, that you think about, one, what's your pain like? What is your range of motion like to be able to complete these exercises? And the last one is you want to make sure that you feel safe to do so. If you're a bit unsure about whether you should be completing these sorts of exercises, please give me a call on 0777 866 3470 or email me at and the email address is nicola.coburn@homephysiobynicola.co.uk, and I can give you some advice about whether these exercises would be appropriate for yourself. Okay, so I'm going to go through some and we will start off in a seated position and then we'll go up into standing. Okay, so we have a dining room chair which can be really handy. Ideally you would like to have armrests on the chair for this exercise. Okay, so you have something to push up from. So the first one would be doing basic sit to stand. Okay, so you'd have the arms of the chair here and you would push up to stand, and then you would stand without holding on, arms back on the chair, and you would sit down. To make that harder, if you feel that you're more able, you can clasp your hands together and you can push up to stand like this and then sit down. And you would do that repetitively. Okay, you could do, say, 10 in a row, and that's really good for strengthening up your sort of lower from the waist down, but also works on your balance when you first initially stand to get those righting reactions and correct your balance. So that's quite a nice one to warm up with. These exercises can be either done at a dining room chair or they could be done at your kitchen work surface. So if this was your kitchen work surface, you would have something to hold on to keep you steady. Okay, so another one to do would be heel raises. So looking down at my feet there, you're going to go up onto your toes and down again, and you're going to go up and down repetitively. Again, you would try to maybe do 10 in a row. See if you could manage that. Okay, thinking about your posture, so you would have your shoulders back, head up, going up and down onto your toes. After doing that one, you could then do some what we call toe raises. So with the toe raises, what you do is you bring your toes up and try and keep your bottom tucked in. Shoulders back, looking straight forward, and trying to do 10. Okay, this is a really good one because you need to be able to pull your toes up as you take a swing through, and then you put your heel down first as you step. So it's really important to be able to lift your toes up to clear the floor so it stops any tripping hazard happening. Okay, so that's a really good one to do. Next one is you can do some knee squats. So you bend your knees and straighten. So with all of these, try for 10 repetitions to begin with. And try and think about your posture. So shoulders back, keeping your bottom tucked in as you do this exercise. The next one would be to take your leg out to the side and back in. Can you see me doing that one? I'll turn around so you can see a bit better. Taking your leg out to the side and back in. And doing the same thing on the other side, so 10 on the other side. The next one would be to bring your leg back to this from the side, so you might be able to see it a little bit better. So it's called your hip extensions. So keeping up nice and tall, you would take your legs straight back. And that works around the hip area, so it helps with your hip stability. Okay, and then doing it on the other side. So taking your legs straight back, keeping the knees straight, keeping your bottom tucked in and keeping your top half nice and stable. Okay, so that gives you a little bit of a warm-up exercise and strengthened exercise for the whole of the lower limb there. Okay, it's quite straightforward. It can be done at the kitchen work surface and it can be done from your armchair as well. So, to the balance exercises. So we're going to make these ones quite basic to begin with today. We're going to have them as static exercises, and the ones I'll talk through next week will be the more dynamic balance exercises. Okay, so these ones that I'm talking through just now, I always say to people, if you're through in the kitchen and you're waiting for the kettle to boil, so you're standing there, you flick the kettle, you've got that little bit of time, that's when to try these balance exercises. The more often that you can try to repeat these exercises, the more you're going to work on what we call your righting reactions. So when we talk about balance, we have your centre and your core stability within your middle and the muscles within here, as well as your inner ear, okay, and your vestibular system, and the feedback from all of your joints and your muscles telling your brain where you're positioned in space as well, which is called your proprioception, all feeds into these balance righting reactions. So what I mean when I say that is, if you were to feel unsteady and you're wobbly, it's the ability to pull yourself back up to the centre and to then become centred and balanced, okay? The only way to get these righting reactions better is to make you feel a little bit unsteady. So we need to challenge your righting reactions to then make them a little bit better and get them to improve. So with these exercises, no exercise can be too easy, but we also have to keep in mind that we have to be safe at the same time. So that's why we always want to make sure that we're standing next to something which is stable. So if we were to feel unsteady and lose our balance, we have something that we can hold on to. So kitchen work surface is perfect, or the back of a dining room chair is really good as well. So the first exercise is just to stand with your feet together, okay? So stand with your feet right together, good posture, good alignment, and try to take your hands off the surface and try and keep your balance. And with these ones, we're trying to see if we can stand for up to 30 seconds. Okay, even with this one, you could try to go up to a minute. If this feels too easy, you can then close your eyes and take away the visual feedback. Okay, so your eyes align yourself to all the verticals in the room. So when you take your hands off here and then you try to close your eyes and keep your balance, you'll just notice, even with myself, that there's just that slight sort of postural sway that happens. But that's safe and that's okay because my body's bringing me back to the centre. Another one that you can do with a narrow base of support without touching, you can then practice turning your head from left to right. Imagine this was you about to cross the road, or you hear a hazard coming. So you hear the pets coming to run through the door to greet you. You're able to turn your head from side to side, but keep yourself aligned. Okay. The next one to try is called what we say is Tandem Stance. So imagine that you're standing on the tandem tightrope. And if you look down at my feet here, we're standing heel to toe. And I'm holding on while I get my feet into position, okay? And then we try to take our hands off and try and keep our balance and try and keep steady. Try to keep your knees soft. So your knees aren't locked back and they're not completely bent, but just in the middle, so they're soft, and we've engaged all of those leg muscles so they're trying to react. All right, so you're trying to get up to 30 seconds on one side. Once you get up to 30 seconds, you're then going to swap feet round, so it's the other foot in front of the other, and then you're again going to try and see if you can stand for that 30 seconds and keep your balance. Now, if those ones were still too easy, then you can progress it up to a single leg stand. If you're feeling brave and you're feeling safe enough to do so, that's whereby you can stand on one leg, okay? And then once you feel ready, you can then have fingertip touch, and then you can try and see if you can take your hands off and keep your balance. And again, you're aiming to see if you can get up to 30 seconds. And the reason we say up to 30 seconds or up to a minute is that we're working the endurance of those muscles. So you'll even see with me that I'm making slight adjustments here through my ankle, through my knee, and through my hips here, trying to keep myself steady and keep myself balanced. And you'll see the longer that I'm trying to stand for, I'm just having a little bit more of that postural sway, but it's working my muscles to bring me back to the centre. Okay, and then you would try with the other side. And we always have one leg that's slightly better than the other. And that's because with us being right-handed, you could or left-handed, you can be right or left-footed as well. So you'll have a slightly stronger leg. Okay, so that gives you just a little bit of a taster. I know I've kind of rushed through it all, but I know you don't want to sit and watch me do all these exercises 10 times each. Okay, so we had your sit to stand exercise. We were seeing if we could do that with pushing up from the chair. If that felt too easy, we had our hands clasped together and we were pushing up from the chair just using our legs. Try for 10 times with all of these exercises. All right, we had some heel raises, we had some toe raises, we had the knee squats, we had your what we call your hip abduction, so you're taking your leg out to the side, and you had your hip extension where you're taking your leg back the way as well. And then we had the balance exercises, so it's trying to stand with your feet together and trying to keep your balance. If that's too easy, then you can practice turning your head from side to side. And then if that was too easy, try and see if you can close your eyes and keep your balance. Making sure you have a stable surface in front of you, so if you felt unsteady, you could then hold on. Then we progressed it a little bit further, so they were then standing heel to toe, okay, as if you're on the tightrope. And then once you've done it on one side, aiming for 30 seconds, then you would swap round the other side. Don't be disheartened if you only get a couple of seconds to begin with. It's okay to keep practicing, and it almost gives you a little bit of a challenge and a target to try to beat. Okay, if those ones were far too easy, then try a single leg stand where you just stand on one leg. And what I always like to say to my patients is, challenge the family. Okay, if you have somebody coming to visit you, say, oh well, I can stand on one leg for 8 seconds. Do you think you could beat me? And it'd be really interesting, no matter what age you're at, to try to do a little bit of a challenge to your high level balance. So I hope that that helps. We always say with the exercises just to do what feels safe and comfortable for you. If any of the exercises were to cause you any pain or discomfort, you would want to then stop them and seek advice. And that could either be through myself, or you could contact your local GP, or if you're also involved with another healthcare professional, okay? But you want to be safe and you want to feel comfortable as you're doing them. If you felt okay, then you would want to see if at least you could do them once a day, but even better if you could get up to 3 times a day and really kind of push that strengthening and your endurance as well. And you'll find that after a few weeks of testing it and kind of pushing your balance, that hopefully that time that you're able to keep your balance for would start to improve. And if you found that improvement within your strength and your balance, you're minimising your falls risk. If you have followed all of the advice throughout the course of April, whereby you've talked about your action plan, you know how to rise from the floor, and you've also evaluated your home hazards within your environment and minimised those risks, and then your strength and balance is as good as we can get it, your falls risk will then drop significantly. Okay, so I hope that this tip of the week has been useful. I hope that I've not flown through it too quickly. Next week we will then go into more dynamic balance, so talking about how can we challenge our balance as we move. Okay, so tune in next week for that one. Hope it's been useful. Pop some comments down below to feed back to me if you found that this has been useful, or any other topics that you would like me to cover in the future. Okay, if you can subscribe to the channel, give me a like, and also turn on notifications just to make sure that you never miss a tip of the week. And if you are in the Scottish borders and you think that you require some physiotherapy to help with your falls prevention journey, then you can get in touch with me on the following contacts that I've said earlier on in the video, which is phoning me on 0777 866 3470, or emailing me on nicola.coburn@homephysionicola.co.uk. Thank you so much for your time, and tune in next week. Bye bye.